say that on the radio.
An exclusive presentation of The Rob Dibble Show.
All right, let's talk about some of the stuff going on. That was an incredible game, by the way, by the Mets. But there's a lot of great baseball being played all over the place. The Detroit Tigers are in first place in the American League Central.
I think they'll stay there, man. I think they'll stay there.
They turned that around quickly. They were horrible a couple of years ago. They've turned it around, gotten better in the pitching department, but Torkelson and some of these guys, their draft picks were fantastic. Great. And you brought in A.J. Hinch, who was able to do the same thing with the Astros, albeit there's no banging a garbage can in this clubhouse or down in the alleyway, but he's a good coach.
Yeah,
he's done a nice job with the Detroit Tigers, and they've gone out and gotten some people. I mean, listen, you went out and you got Gleyber Torres. You'd already brought in Jose Baez or Javier. I apologize, and a whole bunch of other guys, but they're not the most destructive in that lineup. They've got a hell of a lineup, and then they've got pitching too, man. Some of their young pitching is just going to carry them. And this reminds me of the Diamondbacks a few years ago. They had a one-year run. I think the Tigers are built for a little bit more than a one-year run. But right now with the Guardians, I didn't like the Naylor, letting Josh Naylor go and getting rid of him. But
well, I'll tell you the one thing they have that a lot of teams don't, a true ace. Skubal is a true ace.
Skubal's awesome.
Skubal is a pencil in W. Even if he doesn't get the win.
He was 2-0 in the postseason last year.
I mean, Skubal is a guy that you do not want to face. As long as he stays healthy, I think this team's got a great shot to be one of those surprise teams that nobody was thinking about at the beginning of the season. But you're right. There's some teams like your Reds, I think, are playing really good baseball right now. I love the American League East, and I think they're kind of beating up on each other. But, man, when you look at the NL West, that is the best division in baseball right now.
It is. It is, and it isn't. The Diamondbacks obviously are right there, 15-13, so they're still in the mix. They have some aces. They've got some really good pitching there, too, but the Colorado Rockies are just total trash.
And the rest of the division is they're eating up on them.
But here's the thing. The Rockies wanted this. They gutted the team. You traded a bunch of dudes away. You gave Arenado away. Plus, you threw in $50 million to boot. And you didn't want to re-sign a bunch of guys.
Well, they never got pitching. It's
hard, but that's a two-way team. You have to be able to play well at your mile above sea level, and then when you go down to sea level, you have to be able to compete. And they've always, this is going back to the 90s, been about 500 when they're on the road, and then they struggle in the postseason. So right now, they're 3-10 at home. They're 1-14 on the road. They've already allowed 164 runs. And their pitching staff was one of the worst in baseball, but the Marlins are a close second with 159. Nationals are right there with the 19 they gave up yesterday at 150. Some of these teams just are built for young. They're probably AA, AAA caliber talent that are growing at the major league level. Pirates are better than they thought they'd be. They're 11-18. Like you said, the Reds now are 3 games over 500 with their 5-game winning streak, which honestly I'm kind of shocked by. After Hunter Green in that rotation, they've actually had some guys that are really pitching well. Lodolo has been really good, and I think it's contagious. That's the one thing that you see some of these teams that you're like, wow, how did that team? Baltimore last year, I think it was contagious with a lot of those young players. But, Henderson being hurt, and, right now some of your pitchers are hurt. That's the thing across the league. The Braves have a bunch of injuries. The Braves just can't do anything with all the injuries. Acuna might be out the rest of the season. I mean, some of these guys, when you look around the league, you're going, man, if we lose that guy for an extended period of time, we're in trouble. So that's kind of the story. Right now, the Yankees are at 17-12. Baltimore's at 11-17, which I'm totally blown away because I thought Baltimore would be much better than that.
What's your read on Carlos Rodon here in 2025? He's 3-3. The last time he got touched up was in Yankee Stadium. He lost also a game in Arizona in Yankee Stadium. It seems like he pitches the best outside the Bronx. Yep. He's on tonight in Baltimore. I have a
love him.
I love him so much, but I do think that he has struggled a bit as he's come over as a New York Yankee, especially last year, and I don't know if he's turned the corner. I love the Cleveland game, his last outing. I thought he looked great, probably the best that he has looked, but still, I think you got to see it consistently.
Here's the thing. Remember last year he couldn't get out of the first inning.
Yeah,
had like a 9 ERA, the highest in baseball in the first inning. It was a struggle for him. And a lot of pitching is mental. You also have stadiums that make you comfortable or uncomfortable. And like you said, right now, he's not comfortable on the hill at Yankee Stadium for some reason. They've got to do something to change that. But listen, 6 innings, 5 2/3, 6, 7. Honestly, this guy is, in place of Garrett Cole right now, he is your go-to guy other than Max Fried. Now, Max Fried is a different monster right now. That guy's on fire. He's 5-0. He's got like a 1.4 ERA.
He's Cy Young.
He looks like he's looking like he's going to start the All-Star game. I know it's a little bit early for that, but when you look at Rodon, he's in between being your number 1, number 2, even a number 3 because of injuries the last couple of years. And I think that's, as you get older, that's what's in the back of your mind all the time. Am I going to be this good in August and September? And you start thinking he just needs to go start to start. Right now, they're 3-3 in his starts as a team. Like you said, his own record is 3-3, and he's going deep enough into the game to give the bullpen a chance to win these games and the offense a chance to win these games. But listen, some of the things that for me are high. Besides, he's not giving up a lot of hits. I mean, you look at just the month of April. 30 innings, 16 hits is fantastic. 4 home runs. It's the 16 walks in the 30 innings that is high. He's averaging about 4 walks an outing, which is when you got guys on base. Now your thought process is a little bit different. But for me, listen, the velocity's up, the movement is up. He's attacking the strike zone a lot more early. Plus, again, you keep changing the catchers every year. I mean, some of these guys are comfortable with Trevino. Some of these guys with Higashioka or whatever his name, Stroka, home run Stroka. You got rid of that guy. Some of these guys were really good catchers they were thrown to that they've in the last couple of years changed, and you have to get comfortable with Austin Wells now back there. And so for me, it's more a question of mental than physical. If he keeps running it out there and throwing 100 pitches and going 7 innings every time he's out there, if he could cut down on the walks and putting extra runs on base, I think he'll be fine.
Rodon on tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. That game on this station, 5:55 pregame, 6:35 first pitch. New York Yankees against Baltimore Orioles. They got a 1.5 game lead right now in the AL East on top of the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox won 2 in a row against the Cleveland Guardians. Before that, they lost 3 in a row.
But everybody's doing this roller coaster ride. The Red Sox looked bad for a minute. Now they're good. They're 16-14. Everybody seems to be hitting.
All right,
Rays were horrible. Now they're back at 500 with a 5-game winning streak. I mean, those are the kind of things. Listen, it's early, man. I think you got to get to 50 games before you even have an identity of what team you are. The Mets just got Alvarez and McNeil back the other day. They both were huge in the win yesterday. So it's they're also displacing guys that were filling in for them. So that creates kind of a vacuum of, okay, now you 2 dudes are on the bench. And now you might get 1 or 2 games a week, which is not easy for those guys that were playing 7 games a week. So baseball is a vicious cycle of ups and downs and being able to handle the ups and downs mentally and adjust to it.
All right, speaking on that topic, an ups and downs guy who has come out to say it was really tough for him and he was even contemplating suicide a couple of years ago.
Jarren Duran.
He's one of the best on the Red Sox. He had a triple and then stole home the other day in Cleveland, which not a lot of people in the league can do or say they even tried to do. But then he got in a fight again where a verbal altercation with the fan that was yelling at him. What's your advice for this cat, man? Because you've dealt with this.
I do know what the slurs were, and it was about suicide. Yeah. And that fan was removed. The Guardians apologized for it, but I don't want to say don't come out and say you contemplated this or that or had all
he
kinds
admitted
of mental
to
struggles.
that he knows he gave him some ammo.
But now that's ammunition for the fools on the road. And it's unfortunate that there's humans out there that do that kind of crap.
I agree.
And I think, here's the thing, the people around that guy, they swarmed him.
Yeah, Guardian fans.
The Guardian fans were magnificent. They were like, no, we're not idiots like you, and we're not going to be associated with this crap.
Right.
They grabbed him. They removed him. Then the security came in, and that guy, Major League Baseball, that guy should never be allowed in a stadium, but it's hard to keep people out of a baseball stadium. That being said, I agree with what you're saying. Dude, you're a fantastic person. You're a fantastic ball player.
Right.
They're going to say the most unfortunate things to you the rest of your life as a baseball player. And then you can go on and do whatever you want to do after that. But while you're on a baseball field, you're a target of the 50,000 that are in the building. And if it's 30 or 40 or 20
or two,
it's difficult because he's kind of on an island in the outfield where you've got behind him and on the side. And remember, the guy played there, Albert Bell. And I knew him as Joey Bell before he became Albert Bell. Was always angry, but I liked him. I got along with him really well. Did not take kindly to you ragging him. I didn't take kindly to people ragging on me. I got into it all the time until I tried to diffuse it with humor. But there's no easy way to approach a fan that says the things that said to him other than try to ignore it, and if not, have him removed. Listen, they say all the racist stuff to the NBA guys, but there's no everybody's going to handle it differently, but you can't fight everybody.
Yeah.
You can't fight everybody. It's impossible to do that. And for him, in order to keep his sanity and his job, you can't go into the stands.
How many people would it take to fight off an angry Albert Bell? 100? 50.
I think 50.
Black belt ninjas.
I'll tell you what.
That dude.
I played with Fernando Vina, and when he forearmed Fernando and knocked him like flat, I was like, dude. And then Fernando was not happy about that. Albert don't play. And here's the thing. When they were accusing him of cheating, and then he did kind of a bicep thing, I was like, whoa. I'm like, so I played with a dude like that. You know, Glenn Bragg's strong, but not as strong as Cal Daniels. Calvosky Daniels from Georgia, one of the strongest people I've ever played with. He never wore short, tight sleeves, but had the biggest guns when he had his shirt off. And nobody on our team ever messed with Cal. Cal was quiet.
Love it. And
quiet people scare me. And every now and then when he'd get angry, it would be like an explosion. And so, I think with Albert, you didn't want to get him angry, man, because he was going to just. Here's the thing: he, we all have anger issues, but you're angry at yourself. People don't realize that when you're on a baseball field or football field, or I even think people at the bowling alleys probably lose their minds every now and then.
Pete
right?
Weber.
Oh yeah. So when you're competing at a high level. The fear of failure overwhelms you at times, and I think people don't understand that. I mean, listen, it's taken me 40 years to try to figure out why the hell I lost a gasket every now and then. But it was, I hated to lose to my older brothers. Then it became I hated to lose to my competition as a younger athlete. Then as a professional, I was embarrassed and shamed by not doing my job. I don't think people understand that. When my wife brought this up to my daughter because she lost a lacrosse game. She said, do you think your father, when he gave up a home run in that Mets game and tore off his jersey, wasn't affected by letting his team down? Everybody, because she was saying that she felt bad she let her team down. Even though we told her she didn't, that it was a team loss or a team win. It's tough to explain this to a 14-year-old girl or boy, when they have that feeling of guilt. But I said, listen, Coco, I had that feeling every time I didn't do my job because I was paid to do my job.
Yeah.
And it's a hard pill to swallow. And it doesn't help that some guy's yelling at you. I can't even imagine what he was yelling at it. And here's the thing. I lost my nephew to suicide a couple years ago. It destroys the family. It destroys everybody that's associated with the family. It's an awful thing, and I'll never get over it. But I know my brother and his family will never get over it. Yeah. So, somebody who's even thinking about it, it's not funny. It's not even something that should be publicly, brought out at a baseball game or any kind of other event. It's just stupid. I just think that that kid doesn't deserve to try to help other people by his own mental struggles,
right,
to have someone now make fun of his mental struggles.
Red Sox are north of the border. They're in Toronto. Another series with the Blue Jays, like 3 already for these guys. Have the Red Sox even played the Yankees yet? I don't think so. Oh, my gosh. Red Sox, Blue Jays, 7:07, extra 2 minutes for O Canada tonight, and then 7:10 start Diamondbacks in New York to take on the Mets. The Red Sox Blue Jays will be Garrett Crochet's night tonight, and he's going against Bowden Francis. And then for the Diamondbacks, Eduardo Rodriguez is on the hill against Drew Peterson of the Mets. There you go. There's your games for the night.
Oh, who are you watching?
My Cubs got Shoto on tonight, taking on the Pirates. That's an automatic
you know
win.
what I wanted to talk? I wanted to talk about this. All right, so the guy I was bringing this up to Nick against the Yankees. So this Shigano last night, the kid they got from Japan.
Yeah.
This kid's phenomenal, by the way. And anytime you get to watch him, kids, you should watch him because he's not an overpowering pitcher. Listen to this statistic as I was watching the game last night. 23 of his 24 Japanese starts, because remember they play a 142-game schedule.
Yeah.
23 of 24 last year in Japan, 3 runs or less. You talk about consistency, and only the other game was 4 runs he gave up. Like last night, gave up no earned runs. Baltimore wins 4-3. The 3 that came out of the bullpen. He went 5, but he's been his 2 starts before that. He was going 7 innings.
95 pitches, 59 strikes.
Not a great night for him because he was trying to
nibble.
He was nibbling too much and stuff. But again, Judge first 2 at bats, hit the ball well. Okay, I'm not giving you another pitch to hit. And then he gets into the specialists in the bullpen, and they were like, we're going to let the other guys beat you. And the Yankees almost did come back and win that game. But I just think that in their lineup, and again, they're talking about the stupid torpedo bats and things like that, it's just putting balls in play. They struck out 15 times last night, the Yankee lineup. You can't strike out 15 times in a game. You just can't out of 27 outs. It's just you're making it easy on your opponent. You're not putting balls in play. You're not putting pressure on the defense. So the Yankees have to figure out a way to, I don't care what kind of bat you're using, put wood on the ball, barrel it up. That's what the kids say today instead of, I just say make contact. But just put the stinking ball in play and give yourself a chance.
Dude, you're right. He's been feasting, man. Like they found a diamond in the rough here in Baltimore. He is 4-5. His last 5 starts, this year. They've won 4 of those games. Last night's his best night strikeout wise. He had 8 strikeouts. I think the key to his madness, like he does give up home runs, but you're right. Nothing over 3 runs is his game total. He goes pretty deep. He's had 2 7-inning starts already, the last 2 of 3 before the Yankees start last night. Home runs, I mean, he's given up a couple jacks, but it looks like they're solo jobs. No walks, really. I mean, 1 walk last night, 2 walks his second start, 1 walk his first start. That's 4 walks in 5 games that he's pitched.
He's meticulous, man, with the strike zone, and he's been pretty economical, like you said. The 7 innings against Cleveland that they won 6-2, 87 pitches. The 7 against the Nationals, albeit, listen, they're not that competitive. They did have 2 home runs against them in that game, 94 pitches. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. 12 to 15 pitches every inning, keeping yourself around, giving the bullpen a day off, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But can you imagine 23 starts, 3 runs or less? I mean, that's now you're talking about like Greg Maddux type of dominance and things like that. And that's what you want when you go to Japan. And by the way, I looked at that Roki Sasaki kid. He's pitching much better. He's pitching much better. Those first couple of outings, 9 walks. His last 4 starts, 9 walks.
Well, he got his Japanese-style toilets. You know about this?
No, I did not.
It was a part of the bargaining chip for him to come to the Dodgers. They were asking him, like, what do you need, money-wise? I mean, where do you want to live? And he's like, do you have any Japanese-style toilets? And they're like, no, but we'll get some. And they got some. And then
what's a Japanese-style toilet?
I guess it's a smart toilet.
What does it talk to you?
It gets you all your analytics.
That was not a good number 2.
So apparently it was a big deal breaker for Roki to
Are
have
you serious?
kind of.
Are you being serious right now?
Look it up. Japanese style toilet.
I have to have my own toilet now.
I'm pretty sure this was not a story from The Onion. I think this was an actual story.
At least my kid that's coming to the Cowboys is bringing his own turtles.
I'll double check
He didn't
it.
go to Jerry Jones and go, hey, I'm a turtle guy. You need to buy me a couple of turtles or I'm not coming.
I don't know. Some people are particular, man, especially these starting pitchers.
Oh, I did have to tell you a turtle story. Please, people, don't do this. This is one of the stupidest things.
What's the turtle story?
There was a grammar school that took a household turtle and painted the shell.
Yeah.
The vet had to come and tell them, do not paint turtle shells. They breathe through their shells.
They breathe through their shells?
They breathe through their shells.
What's their mouth and their nose for?
I don't know. Sniffing butt? I don't know.
Sniffing? Well, then
Anyway.
how are they breathing?
So again, they nearly killed the turtle to try to get you can't like take a toxin to get the paint off.
Bleach?
So they had
Magic
you
eraser?
can't put bleach on it. It's breathing. So they had to soap and water it, and that nearly killed it. But they were able to save the turtle. So anybody listening to this is like, hey, let's take a turtle and paint its shell. Don't paint its shell.
Now you know.
Now you know. So you're
PSA
learning
from the
stuff
Rob
all the
Dibble
time.
Show.
Don't paint turtles, especially the house ones.
Yeah.
You get a wild one.
Do whatever you want.
No, don't do whatever you want.
What?
Take care of the wild one. All right. There you go. That's our PSA. All right. Squiz the dibs time.
Oh, yeah.
We got some baseball cards. Look, they're in a sealed envelope.
Yes, they are. Very important. Very important.
I got to be like Kreskin
Yeah.
and try to think about what's in there. We'll be right back on the Rob Dibble Show.